And Bobbito said, wait, nah, let him finish. It's pretty cool. Let him finish. I want to hear. So when he said that, that was it. I was going to be a rapper. That was it. You know?
Now I don't want to do it, but I ain't afraid to die. Lord knows I ain't perfect. I ain't trying to tell a lie. It's understood and I ain't hearing all that woulda, coulda, shoulda. Trying to say you want peace, then you burn the.
It was my God's honest that I was all about a non-violent approach, but it seems truth is a non-topic.
One of my childhood friends, this dude, his rap name was X-Lib. We started to listen to the Stretch and Bobbito Show, and that's what changed the game for me. So Stretch and Bobbito is, for the listeners that don't know, it was the #1 underground hip hop show in New York City. And it was at the time where, remember, there's no internet, there's no Google, there's nothing. The only way you can get dope underground hip hop that hasn't been released yet was to listen to these college radio stations or these public access shows on TV, and you'd catch shit once in a while and from the ground up. But Stretch and Bobbito would have demos sent to them by all these underground artists and bootleg records and like the first single of whatever artist that would be coming out. So they had like Biggie Party and bullshit before it was out, before it even hit. Yeah. They had like all the Wu-Tang members' original first shit. You know, they had the RZA's first record, We Love You, you know, all that shit. The words from The Genius, we heard like in 91, you know, whenever it first came out, we heard all that shit, listening to Stretch and Bobbito from like 91 on. So we got into hip hop first, and then my friend knew about this station that gave all the shit before it even came out, and they had guests. The hip hop artists would come up to the fucking show and rap. So
they were freestyling shit on air. That don't really happen no more.
Nah, man. And they were freestyling dope. They would come up and sometimes they would drop their shit from their album before their album dropped. And we thought it was like brand new shit that we might never hear. So we were recording everything. And then we'd feel robbed because the album would come out and we'd be like, I already had that on tape from the Stretch and Bobbito show.
That ain't no freestyle.
That ain't no freestyle. I got that verse already, you motherfucker. You know, like when we were kids, you know, now we understand. But what they were doing, because they probably didn't have, you know, they didn't write anything on the spot. But I'll get back to that later, because when we started going up to the Stretch and Bobbito show years later, we wrote right in the lobby just because we wanted to write something brand new on the spot, and we were pumped at the moment. So we'd have our juices flowing, creative juices, just right there on the spot, go in and kick it, fuck up mad times. But it was dope because we wrote it right there, and we had energy, and it was sick. You know, it was a whole sick process. But getting back to when I was a kid, so listening to the show, me and my friends started rapping. We started fucking around, writing shit, and we're like, yo, we should call up. At the end of the night, they would take callers, like the last half hour, last 45 minutes. They would take phone callers. Stretch and Bobbito would take a call and let the callers rap over whatever beat they were playing. So we were like, yo, we got to write something and call up and rap just for jokes. So we used to call up and rap. They used to hang up on us, like you're whack. They used to abuse us and hang up the phone, and you know they like they would do with whoever would call up and be fucking, you know, a beginner or corny or whatever it was, right? So this was 91, you know, like that. And then I remember listening to the show, sleeping over my friend's house on a Thursday night, because it was Thursday nights. I would sneak out of my crib on a Thursday night, go sleep over his house. We'd listen to the show in the basement, and then not go to school the next morning because the show was over at 4 a.m. And I wasn't going to school. So I would play hooky on Friday for listening to Stretch and Bobbito on Thursday night. Oh, yeah. And then in the summer, it was cool. We didn't have school. So we listened every night, no matter what, every Thursday night, no matter what. So that's how dope the show was. So now I remember eventually we started writing shit. We would be writing like 3-4 rhymes a day because we loved it. You know, when you first get into something, it's like when you first got a new piece of pussy, you fuck it 2 or 3 times a day. No, but anyway, so we start writing 2 or 3 rhymes a day. I hope that your child's first word isn't fuck or pussy. Hope your kid is not within an earshot of my filthy mouth. You know, it's like that. It's like Meet the Parents, right? She'll say asshole. But yeah. So hopefully the baby's first word will be Mr. Hyde, right?
Yeah.
So
never know.
It's gonna be dad.
No.
Because you know this is gonna be the video that gets you 18 million views. Hey. So you know, from my lips to Satan's ears. So anyway, I started calling up over and over and over, kicking my rhymes. And my friends started to get embarrassed at one point because we were getting shit on a lot. So I had like a competitive nature, and I'm like, I kind of started to have it in my head where I'm gonna rap one of these nights, and they're gonna say I'm dope, right? Or they're not gonna hang up on me. At least they're not gonna hang up on me. So I called up, and one night I remember we were in my friend's living room. It was a summer night. I started rhyming, and I had like my own little style at that point. It's probably 1993-ish, and I'm rapping, really hard, evil, but outlandish original lyrics where, shit that nobody's ever said before or heard before, very evil, like I said, apocalyptic kind of Slayer lyrics, but with like a weird mechanical flow, but it was very different and very original. And a lot of this stuff could be found on my Rare Demos and Freestyles, CDs and digital catalogs, if, for the people who want to hear early Hyde. But I was rapping some shit like, talking about like autobionic mechanical sluts, touch you in places seen by few faces, rape type torture, slaughter oasis. Like I was just saying crazy shit, but making it rhyme, basically, but outlandish shit that's never been said before.
That was definitely different.
Right.
That was different at that time.
I would say shit like, it's a death penalty, so don't fuck with the ref. Like I was intertwining sports analogies with like, penalties with referees with death. And, so I was doing I thought it was dope at the time. I thought it was cool. So I rapped, and I remember Lord Sear and Bobbito being there together. Stretch wasn't there that night. And Bobbito and Stretch, when they would get together, they would really crack jokes on the callers and the listeners. They'd go back and forth and be silly, So I remember when I was rapping, Lord Sear was laughing at what I was saying because it was pretty sick. And he was like, oh, and then he started to talk over me. And he was about to like say, all right, like, let's wrap it up and let's hang up on him, whatever he was going to say. And Bobbito said, wait, nah, let him finish. It's pretty cool. Let him finish. I want to hear. So when he said that, that was it. I was going to be a rapper. That was it. From that moment, and it's funny, I give Bobbito that credit for that because I looked up to him at the time, and as a young kid listening to that radio show where I thought it could do no wrong.
That's dope, man. Not many people have an origin story that includes Bobbito, man. That's right. Great.
So Bobbito,
I'm here in Detroit, and I know plenty about Stretch and Bobbito. Like,
so he wrote for like magazines and shit. Had his own columns with hip hop. Yeah. He's a very respected dude in the hip hop community.
Oh yeah.
And he's very but I have to give him credit for that, especially, but, and it wasn't even that he didn't know who I was. So it was from the heart. It wasn't like he was, trying to play favoritism to anybody. He just heard something that he never heard before, and it sounded kind of original. And Lord Sear was about to listen. Lord Sear, I know you a long time. I love you. I ain't trying to shit on you at all, but you slept on me. But anyway, shout out to Bobbito and Lord Sear still at this point. And for that, and for inspiring a kid by playing all the dopest shit and letting motherfuckers call up and rhyme. It was really the only show like that there was, because there was other shows. Like I would listen to the Silver Surfer show. I'd listen to a bunch of underground radio, and that was the only show like that. So I got to give them props for that. Anyway, moving on. So I started rapping, nonstop writing, trying to improve my craft. And my friend came along with me. We formed a group called Catch 22. The reason why Catch 22 was because he would rap very scientifical and complex with similes and metaphors, kind of very, his favorite rappers were like Common Sense and, like a lot of metaphors and lyrical and my favorite
like
shit.
Backpacker style kind of.
Yeah. I mean, like J Live and these guys, like the college radio type shit. He really loved like the like Company Flow and like that type of shit. And I liked all that stuff because everything that was out there was original, that Bobbito and Stretch played. They kind of endorsed it, and I would throw it on my tape and I would like it. It was definitely original shit, but I liked it. I gravitated more towards, Cool G Rap, Cool Keith, Ultramagnetic MCs, Slick Rick because of the storytelling and him telling like kind of hood stories, like the Lottie Dottie shit and the children's story. I related to shit like that because I was very street too. I was a young kid. I was getting into a lot of fights in the street, dealt with like robberies where I used to fucking be a little klepto. I used to go into candy stores and rob them blind, and I got even more fucked up as an older kid because I would rob these stores in plain view, just take shit and wait for the guy to chase me out of the store and then beat the shit out of the guy. So I was fucked up. I was a fucked up kid. I like on some shit, it went from stealing shit and running away from the guy to stealing shit and knowing I could fight. And when the guy would come out, I throw him
battery,
too. Right, assault and battery. So I was fat. I was a foul kid. But you know, that's the type of music I gravitated toward more. And then as I started to get my hip hop personality, remember I was rapping very horror and evil. But then I started to gravitate more towards Cool G Rap and Redman. And when I first heard Redman on the EPMD record, and the way he flowed and kicked shit on some, didn't really give a fuck about anything, and like he had that rah rah rah, and, you know, like in your face type shit, and really like personality and voice inflection on some, like, you know, he would raise his voice within the line and, you know, kind of Busta Rhymes type shit. It was very like animated. It was like, you know, so now when you hear a Mr. Hyde record, you could kind of, now that I bring it up, a lot of people wouldn't know that Redman and Busta and these guys were influences, but stylistically they were, because I said to myself, if Cool G Rap could rap fucked up and foul and say whatever the fuck he wants and talk street shit, talk about, you know, like, you know, up and away, because I don't play clown, but take that with you on the way down. I mean, he's throwing motherfuckers out the window, collecting, you know, money for the mob. And, you know, I'm Italian and my father was a knockaround guy and connected and shit like that. So I had that, you know. So when I heard L Street Blues, it was on too. That was another thing. And I'm like, if they can do it, if they can rap like that. Cool Keith I was listening to, and, you know, he's talking wild shit, off the wall shit. So I'm talking wild off the wall shit naturally. So I'm like, if there's room for them in hip hop and they get respected and loved, then maybe there'll be room for me. Maybe I'll get a fan or two, and maybe a couple of people would like what I did. And here's the thing. I really didn't give a fuck. I loved it so much that I did not give a fuck whatsoever if I blew up or if I got on or if I made a record. I just wanted to make music that I wanted to listen to and you know, and release it.